Most of you don't know us or our program. I read somewhere that one of your fans said we're going to have an advantage tonight because there's a 3-hour time difference. And we've been a pretty good program. We had a team I thought should be in the NCAA tournament, and we lost the game. And at our level, that's the kiss of death is you have to win your tournament. We proved tonight that we were an NCAA team and we could win games in the NCAA tournament, and that's what I'm happiest about. Our kids played their hearts out. There was a lot of disappointment for these young men when we lost to the 9th seed in our league. And they came here, and instead of playing it out, even when things got bad, they believed in themselves, and they played as good a basketball game as we could play. And I'm just tremendously excited and pleased.
Questions for Sharon, please?
Sharon, you're down by 20 early in the second half. What was said in the huddle? What did you guys say to each other?
We a team that, is always fighting. We talk about fighting through adversity. We stayed together, and that's the message that was going down. Me being a leader on the team, I was making sure my guys was, just ready, and, everybody responded, at a tough time.
What was different for you in the second half? You scored 15 pretty quickly.
I was just out there. I just stayed confident, if the ball not falling, Coach always say, the next play, you'll knock down the next 6. So, me missing a couple shots early, I didn't, it didn't faze me. I just, kept shooting and, kept making plays to win the game.
Sharon, can you talk a little bit about the locker room during halftime? What was said? What was the attitude?
Can't say that.
At halftime, we was just, we was devastated. Our head was down, but like I said, we kept talking about how we need to stay together through this. Because adversity always hit us, and it hit us in conference play. So I feel like we've been there, and we responded today.
How much of a chip on your shoulder did y'all have coming in and facing an ACC opponent like Clemson?
It was a great opportunity. We had a chip on our shoulder. We always played with one. I feel like we was devastated after the game. We had some time off. We just got to it, and we were just blessed to be here, and it's a privilege to still be playing. So that's how we was taking it, and we knew it was a great opportunity to come here.
Any more questions for Sharon? Thanks, Sharon. Questions for Coach?
Coach, have you seen your team demonstrate the ability to come back from a big deficit like that this season?
A 20-point deficit on the road to an ACC team? No. No. What we said, halftime was not pretty, and I've not done that with this team. This was a team we thought was going to be a top 25 team, and our point guard, if you guys might remember him from a couple years ago, Kay Felder, went in the draft early. He's playing with the Cavaliers now. We thought if he comes back, we could be that good. And when we lost him, to have the season we did was quite remarkable. And at halftime, and because their season was so remarkable, I haven't gotten on this team much. And, I do during the games because that's who I am, but in the locker room, everything's always lovey-dovey, positive, confident, that kind of stuff. Our halftime was not this time because that last 7 minutes, we were ahead by 1. They go on a 20-1 run. We started making stupid plays and giving them run-outs and turn the ball over. That's not who we are. And I really challenged Isaiah Brock, our freshman center. He was soft with the ball in the first half. He wasn't rebounding, and he played an unbelievable second half. He was the unsung hero out there. When Jalen went down, now you got to realize we did this without our best player. And when Jalen went down, Isaiah had like 2 rebounds, and he ended up with 12. And he really, I thought, dominated the paint defensively. That shot Blanken, whatever his name is, made that almost touched the ceiling, he shot it that high because of Isaiah. And at our level, to have a shot blocker like that is very unusual. So, we got after him, and as I was walking off the court, a Clemson fan came up to me and gave me the greatest compliment you could ever have. And he said, your team, I've been watching games for 30 years here, and your team played harder than any team I've ever seen. And if you feel that way too, then I've accomplished something, because that's all as a coach you can get them to do. So they could have hung their heads and quit and said, we had a great season, let's go home, but they didn't. And I love this team, I have all year, but I love them a hell of a lot more now.
What about your offensive rebounding in the second half? You had 9 16-second chance points. Was that part of the effort thing that you were hitting on?
Yeah, and, you know, Jalen Hayes is our best offensive rebounder. Now, Xavier Hill-Mays, the football-looking guy, it's been a struggle for him this year because he's playing behind Jalen. And when he's gone out, he's like, he tries to do everything at once because he knows Jalen's coming back in and he wants to earn minutes. Well, he knew Jalen wasn't coming back, and he just relaxed and played. Then he's, you know, we got everybody back next year except Sharon, but he's our future, and it was pretty nice to see the future. He was really, really good tonight, Xavier was. And again, it was because he wasn't looking over his shoulder knowing, oh, Jalen's coming back in. And against an ACC team, I can't play him at the 5. We're just too small. The big white kid that only played a couple minutes is coming off an injury. He would normally have played a lot more. And we go with Isaiah goes out, and then we got 6'11" to go in and can block shots too. So we're pretty, for a mid-major, we're pretty big in there. So I was glad to see Xavier play so well in Jalen's absence. That was a long answer to your question. So, sorry.
Shelton Mitchell was key to Clemson's offense in the first half. What did you guys do to take him out of his comfort zone and pretty much out of the game?
Well, what we really wanted to do is, you saw we picked him up full court and we tried to wear him down. That little point guard, our freshman point guard, can really get after the ball. Now he missed the layup when he took it from him, but we tried to wear him down and we tried to make him uncomfortable. One of the things we've done well this year is our field goal percent defense. For the season, it's like 40. And in the mid-majors, when you do that, because most mid-majors have great shooters, especially stretch fours. So that was, you know, we did not give up this whole season so far. We've never given up 50% from the floor in a game. That's a pretty remarkable stat. And to do this to Clemson, have them shooting the 20s here, I think we wore them down with our pressure. And that's what we tried to do with them, and I think it worked.
You alluded to the way you guys lost in the conference tournament last week. How do you get a team ready for 7 days or I guess 6 days, whatever it was, to get over that, and not only that, but to then have the emotional stamina to overcome this type of deficit?
Because we had everybody back, I was a bit of a dick to them. All right. If they would have been all seniors, I would have been, hey, kumbaya, you know, we had a great year, career, but this team's coming back, and we can't do that next year, you know. And so I was pretty tough on him. I gave him 3 days off because I told him I didn't want to see him. You know, they didn't want to see me, and we'd get away from each other. And then when we came back, we had a long talk. And we talked about, Oakland's never been in the NIT. And the NIT was long before the NCAA tournament, the NIT existed. This is a prestigious tournament. And Dan Hipsher, my assistant coach, was an assistant at Alabama when Alabama won the NIT. And he told them the story of what that was like to go to New York and how great this tournament is. And he said the following year we went to the NCAA and lost in the first game. He goes, I would have rather been in Madison Square Garden. And our players listened, and Sharon gave a tremendous speech to the team yesterday, and we were ready to go.
Any more questions for Coach?